Hi, everybody. This is Hal Weeks for Stalking the Wild Auto Harp. How are you at remembering lyrics? I tell you what, when I was learning my first songs back in my 20s and 30s, it's like a steel trap up here, folks. And those songs are still embedded in my memory. I can pull them out. It doesn't matter how long it's been since I've done the song. Those songs that I learned when my gray flesh was fresh, it's still there. But now I'm 64. You know, that's catchy. I could write a song about that. And it's just not very easy to remember lyrics anymore. And so we all use cheat sheets. And that's what this is going to be about, is the cheat sheets that I use, the cheat sheets, what cheat sheets do you use, and should you, and how do you organize them, and how do you keep track of that, and what's involved, how do we remember lyrics, if we do have to memorize them, and when do we really have to memorize them anymore. And so I've got a number of things to talk through with you. And I also am going to share with you, this could be a kind of a long video. So I'm going to share with you the computerized version of what I'm doing now. And that's kind of a new thing for me to get into. I've never done it's called screen share, where I actually am recording what I'm doing on my computer and showing it to you. And I'm going to do that for the second part of either this video or this video series. It might be a second video where we get to that. But I'm going to talk to you about, as I get older, it's getting harder and harder to remember lyrics, especially certain kinds of lyrics. I do not have trouble remembering how the tune goes. And if I can remember how the tune goes and how the music goes, I can generally figure out or remember how to play it very quickly. But the words, that's another issue. And so there are different strategies that I've worked with over the years. And see if you haven't seen this one before. Somebody has a big old notebook. I've got one over at the shop that used to belong to somebody. It's about this thick. And it's a big 3-ring, maybe even a 4-ring binder with rings this big. This person evidently was carrying around this big book. If you put that on a music stand, it would break the music stand, I'm sure. And it's got a lot of stuff in it, but it's not very practical. And I used to have a very practical system, and in some ways it still is practical, but not in its entirety. So I'm going to show you that now. And I actually made a video about this years ago, and it's back there in the archives of Stalking the Wild Auto Harp. But this was my system. This is my file box of lyrics. I still have it. I don't use it very much anymore because I'm going with this other system, but it still holds all my songs. And this was my system to make it easier. And that was, well, it's a file box. And there's some, I don't know, maybe 350 folders in here. Every song gets its own folder. This one is Hard Times Come Again No More. It's filed in the H's. Now, I wouldn't file them within the H's in alphabetical order, you know, H-A, H-E, H-I, you know, I wouldn't get into that. I would just put all the H's under H, because there were few of them enough that I could flip through and find what I was looking for. But so inside each folder, there's only one or two, seldom three sheets of paper with the lyrics and the chords printed, big, usually 14 point font for me. I would pull out the few that I wanted to work with. Say I was working up 3 songs for a little mini set at an open mic, or 10 songs to do over at the senior center or whatever. I'd pull those few out, put them over on my music stand, and put this away. And then these would be easy to carry in my case, or hopefully memorized by the time I needed to play them. When I was done, I would usually bring them home, and this was the weak link in the system. I would bring them home. I wouldn't feel like filing them right away, so I would just stick them in the front, like I'm going to do with this. That way, if I went to look for it again and I couldn't find it, I knew it was in the front. And, you know, a couple times a year, I'd pull those out and I'd go through them and file them back in. So that was my system for years. But I went, out of curiosity, I went and I weighed this morning. This weighs 17 and a half pounds. So it's pretty heavy. You can't just schlep it around with you. It's heavier even than that book over at the shop that I was telling you about. So I wanted to streamline. And it occurred to me, most of the songs in this box, I don't really have that much interest in doing anymore. Or it's going to be a long time till I get around. So I'm just going to start with the ones that I do want to do these days, and then add in the other ones gradually. And so since lockdown, so now 4 years going on 5 years, I have been in the process of gradually adding songs into a digital, my laptop. Recently I got a tablet, and I'm going to move it over to my tablet. That way, that can just sit on my music stand. Now, my laptop will sit on my music stand. It folds backwards, and I can turn it upright, and it works just like a tablet. So, would this work for you? In a minute, I'm going to break into my computer software and let you actually see the program, see the plain text file that I learned to create, and then show you a website or two that actually use that format too. This can be a way to keep yourself organized. So first I want to take you to a source for chords and lyrics. And in this case, it's azchords.com. azchords.com. This is a great site for chords and lyrics. And we're going to start out. I'm going to show you using a public domain song because, of course, we're only going to download public domain songs, right? In this case, I'm going to type in House Carpenter. Which is an old British, Scottish child ballad, really. But there's all these different artists, see, who've done it. And everybody will have done it different because it's such an old song. But in this case, I am clicking on Doc Watson's version. These are the words that Doc uses. That's the other thing about these old songs is that everybody has slightly different words, um, and that's okay too. Um, but I've brought this up for purposes of demonstration. So look at what we have here. We just have the words and we have the chords in blue above. And to um, it's enough if you want, it's enough to just come here and play, but you don't have any control over the font size. I mean, you can zoom it, but you can't change the key here. There's other sites that will let you, but the process that I'm going to show you is going to allow you to change the key, and you're going to have it on your own computer so that if you take your tablet, say, to a jam session or with you on a trip and you're not sure you're going to have internet access, you will have it on your tablet. Furthermore, you could print it out from your tablet. Um, but I'm going to show you this process now. So what you need to do is you need to copy paste this page, but there's stuff on the page that you don't want to copy, like you don't want this stuff on the side, you don't want this stuff across the top. Um, and so the way we're going to do this is we're going to copy paste just the words and the chords. There's two ways. One is just to, grab everything here, but for some reason, the computer, this might just be my computer, but it's not letting me grab the top lines of things very easily. So let's try it again, or start from up here maybe. Yeah, if I start from way up there, it will let me grab all the way down to the bottom. So that's the easiest way. But I'm going to show you another way too. You don't need this stuff down here, so you don't have to copy it. That's one way. Now I'd go Control C to copy it, and then I'd paste it into a document on my computer, in my case, Notepad. But I'm going to show you the other way to do this too. So unselect. If you right click on the white and you go down to View Page Source, now this is the backing HTML that the website is actually using. And you don't need any of this. Just scroll down, 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 down until you get to the white lyrics. See, here they are right here. So this is all you need. So you can select, again, just select it, go down to the last verse of the song, make sure you get all the verses, verse 12, look at that, verse 12, and maybe that, you don't need any more than that, and go Control C. Now you've copied it. Okay, so now you can close this out. You don't need it anymore. We're back to my desktop here. Okay, now I want to go to my Notepad, which is just a plain text editor on Windows. And yours might be different. WordPad, for example. I forget what they call it on Apple computers, but it's just the basic plain text editor. You don't want to do a Microsoft Word file here. But you're going to paste now, which for me is Control V. Okay, and here's my song. I'm going to want to put the title at the top because I didn't manage to get that, which was House, whoops. Carpenter. Okay, that's all we need. And now we're going to save it on the desktop as House Carpenter plaintext.txt. Save. Now let's close this and look for it. And it's in here along with everything else. Here it is right here. I'll stick it apart right here so you can see it. House Carpenter. Now we're going to open Mobile Sheets, which is my Lyric Storage Program. This will store sheet music that you have downloaded. It will store JPEGs if you've just taken a screenshot of the song. Um, but when you take a screenshot, you can't change the key, just like you couldn't on AZ chords. So what we're going to do is we're going to import it, import local file, and we're here on the desktop. Now we're going to look for House Carpenter. House Carpenter right there. Okay, use file name as title. Yes. So we don't have to do anything on this page, but you can fill out this stuff if you want to. And click OK. And you have imported one file, and it appears at the top. Click OK. There it is. Now, if you go under Song, these are in the order of songs that I've had them open. This is recent songs. We're going to go under the song list, and it's alphabetical. So it's going to be under H. House Carpenter. Boom. Now this is where it's really cool. This program, right now, you can set the background color, in this case, black. You can set the font color, in this case, white. You can change it to black on white. You can change it to black on cream, or yellow on purple, or whatever's easiest on your eyes. You can change the font size. But here's what's really cool. You can change the key. Just tap on the black, go up here under this little quarter note with the up and down, which means move the pitch. This is in the key of C or A minor, but it starts on the D minor chord. But we're going to change it. We're going to raise it, say, 2 half steps. So now we're using E minor and D, and notice how all the chords changed as I clicked. You can put it in any key you want, as long as you have the chords. Click OK. And next time you open this song, it's going to be in this key. I don't know why I was reading as a different key than that, because it is in D minor, not C and A minor. A minor is the relative minor of C major, but we don't see that here. So for some reason, this is off on this song, but it doesn't matter because we can see what it says. So now we've got it in D minor, which is where I like to sing it. And I can change the font size. In this case, I'm pinching. You can't see me doing it, but I'm pinching on my trackpad. So that's basically what I wanted to show you, is that it saves your songs. Let's go back out. It saves all your songs, brings them back up in the key you want. It has other controls too, which is sort of room for another video, but let me show you some cool things. For example, here, this is sheet music. That I have purchased and put in here. So it shows me the sheet music. It will not let me change the key on this because this is basically like a PDF. It shows me PDFs. It shows me screenshots. It shows me JPEGs. If I just took a photograph on my phone and then put the phone on my computer and then loaded it in here, it would always be here because it creates its own backup file. That's basically what I wanted to show you about mobile sheets. You could have thousands of songs in here, all organized alphabetically. You can create your own collections, like you can put all your Christmas songs in one group. You could have set lists where if you've created a set for a performance, like you're going to go down to the senior center, you can create, you put your 12 songs in here, and they'll always be there until you delete this set list. And you can have more set lists. You can set it to turn pages with a foot pedal instead of having to scroll it. Let's go back to songs, and we'll go back to House Carpenter here. I can use my arrow key and just scroll through the screens. But if you're playing your auto harp, you don't have your hands available. So it's nice to be able to control that with something. And there's controls. These controls down here are scrolling. Let's see if it scrolls for me. No, it's not set up. It doesn't have a scroll speed on it yet. But it will scroll at the rate that you tell it to, and it will remember that rate. So you adjust that for the song, and you play the song at your normal speed, and it scrolls for you like a teleprompter. Or you can have a Bluetooth foot switch that you step on, and it turns the pages like that, which is handy. And then when it gets to the end, it'll go to the next song in your playlist and the next song in your playlist. So this thing is really powerful, and it does way more than I need it to do. But I wanted to share this with you. So there you have it. That's my current ongoing solution. So let's talk about the pros for a minute. The professional musicians that we see now, I'm not going to talk about the young whippersnappers. I'm going to talk about the folks who are rolling along into their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They're all using teleprompters. If you can't see it, that just means it's cleverly hidden. Those monitors that are on the stage, there's teleprompters down there too. And if you look around, I've seen pictures of Elton John with a teleprompter on the floor in front of him. I've seen Crosby, Stills, and Nash with teleprompters. The pros use teleprompters. Pros have used prompters and teleprompters for years for their lyrics, and we don't see that, and so we think, oh, they have it all memorized. And some of them do. And it's not that bad to memorize a song or two, or if they're songs that you've sung all your life, you're going to know how they go. But these songs that are newish, songs that you want to pull out and do, and you have not done them in a long time, and you're like, it helps to have a little help. And that's the nice thing about this tablet computer method, is you don't have to carry a huge book or file box with you to dig through and go, I got it here somewhere. Because I'm not doing these songs all the time, I can't remember them. And so I've said, okay, I'm just going to have an easy peasy tablet computer that I can carry to work with me, because sometimes I sit down to do a song at the shop and pull it out, and there's the lyrics. So that's what I'm setting up to do now, is to get it over onto a tablet computer that I can just carry in my backpack and have with me, so that I have my tunes with me. That way they'll get played more. What do you do to remember lyrics? There are memory techniques that people walk through. Say the first word. Say the first word and the second word. Say the first word and the second word and the third word. Say the first word and the second word and the third word and the fourth word. Go through like that. Learn the first word of each line. That's a good one. That's one that works for me. Learn the first word of each line, or have a cheat sheet with that, like a card with the first word of every line, because you get to the end of the first line and the rhyme cues you to the second line. In fact, you can just have the first word of each verse. The rhyme at the end of the first line cues you to the second line. The rhyme at the end of the second line cues you to the third line, etc., etc. Hey, you've got the first verse down. Now you're through the chorus. Now you need that prompt for, like, where do I go for the next verse? So you can get through a song just by having the first line, first word of each line, or even the first word of the stanza of the verse. And that can be a real good, quick way to get through a song if you need a cheat sheet. Or mobile sheets, as I've showed you in this video. So think about it. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of my attempt to show you software, because I have never done that before. And I may learn as I edit this 1 hour long software video that I've got to do now. I may learn that I never want to do that again. But I do have about 7 places online that I want to show you how they work. It would be a lot simpler than doing the mobile sheets. But let's see how it comes out, and I'll share it with you. And I'll get off the screen now. So we'll see you around. Thanks for listening to all this. Bye-bye.